Okay, Mark meets Russ Lidstone, CEO of Euro RSCG London. Hi Russ.
Hello Mark, how you doing?
Good, you okay?
I'm very good. Welcome to Euro.
Thank you very much. Can you give us a very quick summary of your entire career to date?
Entire career to date. So I started life thinking that I was going to go into academia. Once I left university I had a place to do a PhD.
Where did you go to uni?
University of Kiel.
Okay.
The dream on the hill.
Has the highest rate of suicides
and alcoholism.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I went to Stoke-on-Trent, so...
Oh really?
I went on that well, yeah.
Oh right. Very good. So you know it well. So I went there, didn't quite know what I wanted to do, but I had a place to do a PhD. I didn't have the funding, so I left university looking for funding. As I was looking for funding, an opportunity came up for a leading FMCG company to do a research project, ethnographic research project, which is what I'd specialised in at university, into youth culture. So I ended up working for Coca-Cola, which was a marvellous... Here's Hodgie with my coffee.
It's fine. Come in.
Thanks Hodgie. The elixir of life, caffeine. I had the opportunity to do a 6-month project for Coca-Cola, which was this graduate job that I entered into, thinking that I was going to end up back in academia, but I quite like the idea of this money thing and paying off my debts, and as a result of having spent some time with Coca-Cola, I got the opportunity to work with some advertising agencies, including McCann's, who said, why don't you come and become a planner? I became a planner. Then worked my way through a number of agencies, strategic, creative, and ended up working at Lowe and JWT as head of planning, and came to Euro RSCG in 2006 as a head of strategy, and about 3.5 years ago was offered the opportunity to become CEO. So I'm quite an unusually shaped animal in the sense that most CEOs don't come from a strategic background, they come from an account handling background. So that's how I ended up here. I think it was an administrative mistake. I think I'm still waiting for the tap on the shoulder and saying, hang on a minute, you should be in that seat.
What's the best bit of career advice you've ever been given?
The best bit of career advice I've been given was by a basketball coach called Sprunt Hill, who I used to play with. He wasn't in business, but he was a basketball coach, and he said...
Was that his real name?
Yeah. I won't take you off the court for missing the shot, but I will take you off the court for not taking the shot. And I think you can read the parallels into business, but you know, you've got to do stuff, you've got to try things, you've got to fail forwards, and often the best bits of business advice come from outside of business, and Sprunt gave me a great learning there, I think.
If you could work for any agency in the world, obviously apart from Euros, who would it be?
Well, it's a good question. I think the agency landscape's changed significantly over recent years. I think the world's become really, really flat. And by that I mean, you know, lots of agencies are really capable of doing fantastic things. So whilst there are always going to be the agencies, the go-to agencies in terms of creativity and the ones renowned for consistently delivering ideas, I think what's happened in recent years is the way that the landscape has changed in terms of digital evolution, social and so forth, means that on their day any agency is capable of doing great things. And you know, we've just recently won 2 D&AD pencils for our work on Unilever. A whole range of other agencies are winning awards for interesting and innovative ideas. Who would I like to work for or with? I'd like to work for Lidstone Inc. at some point. I would, you know, I think Droga 5, I think Anomaly, I think Sapien, Nitro are interesting agencies. But like I say, you know, in any agency worth their salt in town right now, there are some really talented people, and I think that, you know, everyone's capable of doing great things.
What 3 words do you think your colleagues at Euros would describe you, would use to describe you?
Tall.
How tall are you?
6'4".
Okay.
So I'm not at all really. No, I think they would say, oh crikey, this is a good question. I think they would say driven, human, and rigorous.
And what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Tall. How would I describe myself? I think I would describe myself as passionate, rigorous, and humble.
Who inspires you?
Well, I've had a number of mentors across the years, from creative people at Lowe and HACL, and some really creative agencies, and strategically some fantastic mentors like Leslie Butterfield at Butterfield Day. So I'm very lucky because I've had a great career where I've been touched by some really great people. I think I'm inspired by the people I work with right now. There's some fantastic talent in this agency, guys that I work with on a regular basis. So Mick, our Executive Creative Director, Claire, our Head of Operations, Claire, our Head of Social. They're all fantastic people.
And do you continue to learn from them?
Yeah. And I think the adage for leadership is surround yourself with great people, people who are better than you, and I think that's really, really important, because I can't understand or know or be brilliant at everything, if anything. So being surrounded by people who I look at on a day-to-day basis and say, wow, that is fantastic, I couldn't do that, or I wish I could do that, is a wonderful thing, and it's a real privilege of the position I'm in.
Do you come into work some days just wishing that you could just be a planner? Be one of many planners, just not be on anyone's radar?
It is an interesting transition from being responsible for the strategy around brands and the creative output of a brand to the responsibility, which I don't take lightly, of the 200 odd people in this building, their livelihoods, and our success, from a creative point of view, but also from a business point of view, and from a spiritual point of view. We spend most of our waking hours in this place, and so I want people to kind of enjoy it and be attracted to it, not do it begrudgingly. And I think that's a big responsibility, and one that I enjoy. But equally, when it comes to financial planning meetings with our parent company and so forth, from time to time, it's a really important challenge, and one that's very different from being a planner on a day-to-day brand.
Who's the most creative person you've ever had the kind of pleasure of working with?
Mick Mahoney. So I'm lucky enough to be working with him now. He's unbelievably ambitious in terms of what's possible with work. He's really lovely to work with, and he's got an amazing balance between ambition and pragmatism. And there are very few creatives that have that ability to kind of balance a business need with creative ambition. We're achieving an awful lot as a result of Mick's creative stewardship.
Obviously, in the current economic climate, things not looking kind of fantastic. Have you ever had the threat of redundancy before?
Personally, or?
Personally, yeah.
Well, I think you have to ask my boss now. I don't think so, but in all honesty, I think good people in our business, but probably in most walks of life, have a... I was lucky enough to work with Tesco for 5 years, and Serto really, he used to talk about the natural sense of paranoia that good people have, and I think that is true. I think that I know that if I don't deliver, or I don't continue to deliver, then it's a business and changes have to be made. I'm lucky because I think we've done a good job, and as an agency we're doing really well, creatively and from a business point of view. But I also think that a healthy sense of paranoia, knowing that we don't want to lose our clients, we want to do a good job for them, and we want to win more business, and we want to grow, and we want to do the best for the 200 or so people in this building, is a really important thing that I think drives a lot of people. I mean, one of the words that I didn't use to describe myself was driven, but probably other people might describe me as that.
What's been the most embarrassing point in your career?
Probably being at a very high level, UK TI, UK Trade and Investment Group dinner in China, a trade mission in China where we were asked to take part in a banquet, 16-course banquet, with some other advertising folk, senior people, and one of the courses, I think course 4, was a chicken fetus, and we were invited to enjoy this moment surrounded by Chinese dignitaries, which was an honour, but at the same time fairly unpleasant. So it was probably the only time where I thought I might be sick on the table at a client dinner, and yeah, I had to excuse myself for a moment just to calm myself down after that. So that was quite embarrassing. I've been lucky enough not to really kind of come up against too many embarrassing situations, but I'm sure there are plenty more to go.
And what's been the most surreal point today?
Well, I think the thing about this business is, we take what we do very, very seriously, and we know that we can add an awful lot of value to a client's business, and like I say, for the benefit of the people in this company. But from time to time you'll find yourself in discussion about the difference between gleam and shine. You'll find yourself talking about whether something should be blue or red, or and you kind of think, well, is this really what it's come to? But obviously the detail is really, really important in our business, and so you do find yourself in those discussions from time to time. So gleam or shine, can be really, really important, but you do kind of helicopter out yourself now and again and go, is this really why I ended up in this business?
And for you, what's been the best account to work on?
Well, I've been lucky enough to work on a whole bunch of different things that have been great. I think Tesco would probably be the best piece of business that I've worked with. In great days, it was when I was head of planning at Lowe. I spent 5 years working on the business. It was the balance between intuition and rigour. It was creative, it was empowering, and they were genuinely a very nice bunch of people, very straight, very honest, and decent. You'd never kind of leave a meeting wondering what they thought. You always kind of came away thinking, I know what they think and I know what I've got to do. And I think in our business that's an amazing thing. That's what you want. You don't want to wander out thinking, I wonder what they really meant by that.
It goes back to the paranoia side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's less about paranoia. It's just kind of, agencies thrive on the freedom of a tight brief. I know what I need to do now. How am I going to defeat the habit of originality? Defeat the habit of doing the same thing, through originality, and that's it's quite a tough thing to do. That's why creative people are brilliant, because they can break habits. But you can only do that when you know really what a client is expecting of you.
What do you do outside of work? What are your interests?
I try to get physical and psychological counsel from spinning classes. I go to the gym, but more important than that, I teach a bunch of under 10-year-old boys rugby. I coach Ealing under 10 rugby club, and it's wonderful because you've got a bunch of 50 lads in a field in pissing rain on a Sunday morning who don't really want to be there, who you're trying to encourage to do something, and it's a very, very different world to the one that we inhabit in our ivory tower in just off Tottenham Court Road.
Is that because you have a son that plays?
Harvey plays rugby and as a dancer, so that's what they do.
Does he get any special treatment? Does he get treated differently to anyone else?
He probably gets it harder than most of the boys, but I enjoy the sport. I love team sport. I think advertising is a team sport. Advertising is a contact sport. You are spending an awful lot of time with people It's not an eye game. It's absolutely, you're dependent on other people and capabilities in the agency to deliver good stuff. And so I guess what I've ended up doing in business is what I really enjoyed doing, when I was younger, in terms of my leisure and pastimes.
What's your favourite advertising campaign of all time?
Well, I came into advertising as a result of HHL campaigns and BBH campaigns. So Tango, Slap would be a great example of HHL at its best. I was lucky enough to work there. BBH, I've never worked there, but always been a huge admirer. And again, isn't a great agency that I would say someone I really admire. Levi's Creek or Spaceman or something of that nature was just jaw-droppingly good. When I was thinking about coming into the industry, or I just joined the industry, so it's something that makes you proud to be part of what we do. And both examples there were phenomenally successful from a business point of view. And I think, whilst I love them creatively, they're examples of what this business can do for a client's business.
Okay, let's move on to a quick fire round.
Oh, crikey.
One word answers.
Yeah.
Can line or D&AD pencil?
Line.
Art directors or copywriters?
Both.
Safe answer. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Degree or no degree?
Don't care.
Ant or deck?
I never know which one's which.
Retained work or pitch work?
Retained.
Web or mobile?
Same thing.
Roger Sterling or Don Draper?
Oh, you've got me there, Bert.
You're the first person to say that.
I love Bert. I love Bert.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
Oh, network.
Outsourced production or on-site production?
On-site.
And lastly, twist or stick?
Twist.
Thank you very much.